This ecosystem, Titan X, is potentially one of the craziest opportunities in crypto right now. It is completely fair launched, decentralized, with DeFi first principles. It is like a mix between the very best aspects of Hex and the best of Zen and the other top DeFi projects in crypto. So there is a lot to this whole ecosystem. It is insane. And we are going to go over everything. Just a quick, as brief as possible rundown of this, guys. We have Titan X, and now all of these other projects building on top of Titan X, expanding, making the Titan X ecosystem stronger. The second biggest project is Dragon X. Then we have Hyper, Hydra, Helios, Vault, Inferno, Flux, Awesome X, Baby Dragon X, and all of these ones here. Links to all these websites and everything you need to know is down below. I have chosen Hyper and Hydra as the way for me to enter the Titan X ecosystem as the first way to get in with, you know, the best possible opportunity right now. I will show you down here. You can see here I have already started my Hyper miners. I will go over what that is and everything. As you can see here, you can see the estimated ROIs. These ecosystems involve ETH and predominantly Titan X. So you need Titan X for everything in this ecosystem here, right? So now look at Titan X chart. So this is it. Now this started over a year ago, and now it is performing extremely well, and it is outperforming nearly every other cryptocurrency on the market. The way this price chart is just exploding up, and the reason for this is because it started off hyper inflationary and now became deflationary, and in fact it is eventually soon going to be hyper deflationary, which is just crazy. So the more time goes on, the harder it is to get Titan X, and the less of it is that is available. But at the same time, simultaneously, right, it is getting more and more valuable because more people want it. There is higher demand for Titan X. The demand is growing and growing exponentially now because of all of these other projects, right, that use it. So all of these other projects are actually helping this main one, not diluting the project, but literally using each of their individual strength to actually make the original project stronger, the original Titan X stronger. Now, if you look here, this is Dragon X. Then we have, this one is Titan X, right? So then we have Dragon X here. So we can see this is actually paired with Titan X, okay, on the DEX. So, you know, the trading pair is against Titan X, and so this is absolutely even more phenomenal because Dragon X is outperforming, right, not just Ethereum or in dollars, but literally Titan X, which is already outperforming everything else. So this is absolutely crazy because this is exponentially going up against Titan X. So if you try to wrap your head around this, it gets more and more mind-blowing the more you think about it. But this is now, so Titan X is at $100 million market cap, currently 111. Dragon X is $76 million market cap right now, right? And I believe Titan X got all the way up to about $150 million market cap just the other day. Okay, so then we have Dragon X, and then here we have Hyper. So Hyper now is only a $4.4 million market cap, right? So the creator, the founder of, you know, Titan X is here, Jake Sharp, and so he also now has you know, used all of his knowledge he has learned from the success of Titan X and created Hyper and Hydra, and these are the two ones which are basically they're kind of like even crazier. They're basically everything Titan X is but crazier, but they also help the Titan X ecosystem. So through the buy and burn functions, the hyperdeflationary aspect, and many other reasons, right? We'll delve in deeper into that. So that's $4.4 million market cap. And then here is Hydra, which is a $2.1 million market cap. So these two, in comparison to how big Titan X and Dragon X got to, these two are you know, small and tiny and are at a potential perfect you know, low entry point, which is why I started with both of them, right, which is Hyper and Hydra. Then we also have Ouroboros, which is this is amazing as well. I want to delve into this, so I'm going to go deeper into each one of these, okay, in future videos. So I am definitely going to be covering more of the Titan X ecosystem in the upcoming days and weeks, okay? So subscribe to the channel, turn on the bell notifications, because in this video we don't have time to go over each and every detail. So I'm trying to be as brief and as quick as I can to summarize all of this. Then we also have Tink, for example, which is the Titan Farms incentive tokens, and then over here, right, we even have, yes, Titan Farms. So you can farm all of the coins in the Titan X ecosystem over here by pairing them against each other and then putting them in as liquidity. And then, you know, this is that Tink token, which is the Titan X incentive token ecosystem, right? And we can see the price of that up here. Like I showed you, the chart is over here of that as well. Now, all of these charts end up becoming hyper deflationary. Not all of them are. I think I don't think all of them are, but like some of them are. And So Titan X and Dragon X, I think, are hyper-deflationary. Then the rest of the ones have crazy tokenomics as well. Like the Ouroboros one is currently brand new, one of the newest ones. This is going to eventually become, so they're all going to eventually become really scarce, right? And then they're going to be harder to get. So to get in as early as possible into this ecosystem on the ones that are going to become scarce in the future is one of the strategies that I'm doing right now. Now, this ecosystem has like a million strategies you could do, basically. However, not participating in this Titan X ecosystem, I believe at this stage is the biggest risk, and it is even more of it is even a bigger risk of just not participating, because this ecosystem continues to relentlessly grow stronger. As I said to you before, look at the performance here of Titan X, right? It is relentlessly exponentially outperforming and continuing to grow. So it's crazy. On top of that, all the tokens in its ecosystem are systematically getting to their lowest, getting to their, creating their bottoms of the tokens, and then starting to become deflationary, hyper deflationary, right? And therefore gaining in value rapidly and becoming more and more scarce. So a lot of them all buy and burn each other, which creates real revenue in Ethereum and Titan X and Dragon X and the other tokens for the ecosystem. Okay, so the ecosystem starts to feed on itself, or starts to create value automatically for itself. Now, I forgot to mention, okay, so all of this, Titan X, it is on the Ethereum blockchain. Now, the reason I didn't get in a year ago, so I was there right at the very beginning, okay, I saw this when it launched, and the reason I didn't choose to get in one of the reasons was because it was on Ethereum, right, and the fees were so high, and I never actually used the Ethereum blockchain. So this one project alone single-handedly made me use the Ethereum blockchain now to get in, because also things on Ethereum have changed now, right, guys? So fees are so cheap. If we look, we can see the latest fees. They are only like 70 cents transaction fees on Ethereum now, and even swap fees are only $10 to $11. They're not like $100 like they used to be. So the ETH blockchain is getting cheaper, or has recently got very cheap to use, right? So it is just the same kind of gas costs as using another cheap chain like the BNB chain, for example. So that is why it is now super easier than ever before for ordinary people to participate in the Titan X ecosystem. And that is another amazing thing about this. You can start with a tiny, as little amount as you want, and anyone can actually get into this ecosystem, which makes it very fair and exciting, right? So the Titan X miners are currently not profitable anymore, because the values of these are constantly changing, but the ones that are the most profitable to mine right now, to create these miners. So you create these miners and mint tokens to begin with, right? So if you're mining Hyper, if you're mining Hydra, and if you're mining Titan X, if you are mining any of these tokens, you are essentially creating the tokens from scratch, minting them, I guess, right? So what you do is you put in ETH and you create a miner. You can adjust the values here. So this worked the same. These miners work the same, with Titan X basically as well. But here on the Hyper one, basically, so like Titan X, they had a longer thing. There was a 280-day miner length, right? And on this one, these are shorter. So these are only 88 days for Hyper, and also 88 days for Hydra here, if you want to mine Hyper or if you want to mine Hydra tokens. So let's say the best thing is to definitely do the maximum length for these miners. And what you do is, it says here, for example, if you put in $500 of Ethereum now, that's the cost to start a miner with 88 days with a mining power of 100, right? So this mining power of 100, it starts at 100 max, I think. Oh no, it goes all the way up to 10,000. So you can put in $50,000 of ETH, and then the lower it is, so if you go to, for example, 100 or less, let's say you put 50 in, that would only be $250, the cost of ETH. Or, for example, just do 10, then the cost in ETH would only be $50 of ETH. Like if you do 5 mining power, the costs would only be $25 of ETH here, right? So you could start with as little amount of ETH as you want if you adjust the mining power. So let's show an example. And then there's an early adopter. There's all these early adopter bonuses for the people who are starting at the start. And as we can see, every single day, guys, this difficulty increases, and that means that you get less and less Hyper per day of mining every day that goes by, right? So it gets more and more scarce. So that is one of the advantages of getting in at the beginning. You get more, obviously, by adopting this early. So so basically here we have our active miners that we have chosen to start, and we can see I did the max length for both of these miners, okay? And so I am actually creating a ladder now. Every few days I'm creating new miners. So I did one, and then I did another one 3 days later, and then I'm going to continue doing that and start Hydra miners as well next, immediately, as soon as possible. And then also I am going to start with Ouroboros and those other ones as quickly and as soon as I can. But the profits are amazing, right? So for this first miner, right, I put in 0.06 ETH, and the value of that was only, I think it was only about so it was about $151, right? And then the other one I did down here was 0.08 ETH, which is about $200, right? So anyway, let's look at the first one. I put in $150, and then the value that is going to give me 153,370 hyper tokens. And the value of that right now is $461, guys. So that is a 227% ROI. But that is only if, okay, Hyper, where is it? Which is over here on the chart, price stays the same. So if Hyper price does a 10x, like what happens if this Hyper price does a 10x, which is what all of the Titan ecosystem new tokens that are launching are doing, guys, literally systematically one by one. For a year, this Titan ecosystem has been proving it is working. It's crazy. Anyway, so let's say it did a 10x and gets to just only a $40 million market cap, right? Because it's $4 million market cap now, and it could get way higher than that very, very easily because of more and more people finding out about this ecosystem and how much profit can be made from this. It's pretty crazy and insane. But yes, so then that would be $4,610, not just $461, right? So if the value of that did a 10x on the day I receive it, and I will be receiving that on the 21st of January 2025, right guys, in 88 days. So at the end, that's when I would be receiving that. I will be receiving that. So that's crazy. And then another one I've put in the $200 into this one. That's going to be giving me $688. But again, that could be $6,800 when that actually gets unlocked, which again is also in 88 days. So that would be on the 24th of January, right? So if you want to follow our journey, subscribe to the channel, turn on the bell notifications, and I'll be sure to try and update you all about all of this as the journey progresses, right? I've been looking at other people's TitanX journey, and it is insane. Like the profits that the people who got in early created is amazing. They, from 1 year ago, this project has already created millionaires now. So yeah, so anyway, you can see the progress of it down here. I want to delve deeper into this in future videos. I'm super busy today, so my mind is a bit clustered and scrambled as to how many crypto projects there are at the moment and how much crypto news there is to keep track of. It is insane. And this Titan ecosystem on its own, right, requires a hell of a lot of research. So I understand if a lot of you guys don't have the time to delve into this. So what you can do is you can follow along on our journey, right, and we'll basically be able to explain the most important points, and especially in the next video I want to go way deeper into it. But yeah, so that is Hyper right now. We haven't even checked it, like what happens if this does a 100x. So then this $461, which again guys, I am getting it gets unlocked on in 88 days on the 21st of January 2025. Then that would be $46,000, and that is actually potentially, like, that is actually very likely in a bull market. That is not unlikely to happen. Like that has a high chance of actually happening. I mean, you know, I believe that TitanX could potentially reach $1 billion market cap, guys, incredibly quickly, because it already went all the way to $100 million market cap in a very short space of time. And so if Hyper got to a $400 million market cap in the future, eventually, that is not far-fetched. Like, that is potentially possible. And these things could happen exponentially, because in a bull market, if Bitcoin goes past its all-time high, this stuff could get crazy, guys. Because also, the whole ecosystem pays you yield in Ethereum as well, which is why I want to explain and delve into some of these other protocols, like Ouroboros, which is kind of like a lending protocol, and Hydra, and all of these other ones. Which help get you, more TitanX and more of the TitanX ecosystem tokens, plus yield as well, which is crazy. And of course, what happens is that when you receive the value of your tokens, so when you receive your Hyper tokens at the end of this miner, they get unlocked. You receive them. So we'll receive, for example, 3,000 Hyper worth $461, right? Well, then what would you do? You could potentially compound it back in and exponentially grow this whole thing further. You could, so the goal, okay, in this ecosystem, I guess, is to create an infinite amount of future passive income sources, and you can do it all on just this one Titan X ecosystem. It is insane. And again, you can start with as little amount as you want, join in. And so, by the way, this has been around for a year, but Hex was around for like 5+ years, right, guys? Or 4 or 5. I don't know how many years it's been now, but it's a hell of a long time. And Hex is still going now. So Zen has also already been around for years. So this is still super early. Titan X is just only 1 year old. So, and with Titan X becoming hyper deflationary and more rare, in the future, there's no reason to believe that this shouldn't keep growing, basically. The more that people find out about this, also hardly anyone even knows about this yet. I think there was something like only 17,000 Titan X holders in total or something like that. Maybe there's more, but that is so crazy, the fact that there's, still not that many people in this, and yet it is the top performing altcoin in these past few weeks in the bull run recently. And so imagine what happens when the bull run gets crazy. Anyway, I am just ranting, but as you can see, this is a super exciting ecosystem, and I would love to delve into it more once I have the time to be able to sit down and go into it deeper. But I've basically been doing a hell of a lot of research on this project, and as you guys can see, there is a lot of details to go over. So with like Titan X and these top protocols, there is no referral system. It is all about a fair playing field for all crypto users for adoption. And I think there is a referral system on Ouroboros here. Each of them, because all of them have their own unique use cases, purposes, and for a reason. So the whole thing is like, this is not sponsored. It is all free marketing, because naturally, by people being involved in this, they want to share the benefit of how this ecosystem works with everyone else, basically in the crypto ecosystem. So like I said, this is the whole project is fully organically grown. Like, it's crazy. There's no you know what I mean? It's all organic marketing. So the project is marketing itself. So that's what's also crazy and mind-blowing about this. So yeah, anyway, that's enough for now. In the next videos, I want to go over the buy and burn, but I don't have time to go into it now. If you want to see more content on Titan X and follow our journey here, watch us laddering into more and more of these miners, which is these hyper miners and Hydra miners next, guys, I'm going to do, and Ouroboros and some of the other Titan X ecosystem plays. Then subscribe to the channel, turn on the bell notifications. As you can see over here, guys, the Hydra miners are crazy. If you put in $1,000 of Ethereum, then you're going to get $4,000 after 88 days of Hydra tokens, right? That's the current market value of the Hydra tokens right now, and the estimated ROI of that would be 260%. And remember, Hydra is newer, is like new and also smaller, 2.2 million market cap. So that also has crazy and insane upside. And I think some of these start off deflationary as well. So they go down by design. They are supposed to deliberately go down for a certain period of time, just like Titan X did. But then eventually, once the supply and demand reaches, like an equilibrium, it creates a bottom and then eventually explodes out, once the token gets more scarce and more people want to then enter into the token ecosystem. So yeah, nothing on this video is financial advice. This video is for education purposes only. I'm not a financial advisor. So always do your own research. Never invest more than you can afford to lose, guys, and be responsible with your own financial decisions. I'll leave some helpful Titan X links below in the description. Remember, keep the bell notifications turned on, because every single day we are delivering insane early alpha in crypto. My name has been Jordan, and we will see you all soon in the next videos on HotCuppaCrypto.